Yo, you think it's going to be a quiet offseason? LeBron James just liked this post on Instagram of him in a Cavs jersey with the caption, "Come home. What are we doing?" It's all happening. But free agency is just the start. Adam Silver wanted to kill tanking with his new rules, but something else is about to happen. Mark Cuban may not run the Mavericks anymore, but called it out right away. When you flatten the odds, the number of trades will explode. Then he goes on to explain that when everybody's draft odds look pretty much the same, a lot more picks become real valuable. So all of a sudden, that Laker deal for Giannis looks pretty good. Yes, I will take those picks, thank you very much. And if that's true, then it's a whole lot more than just Giannis who might get traded this summer. But speaking of Giannis, the latest prediction on his future is insane. There are legit rumors on 6 All-Stars not named Giannis. One of them is Kyrie Irving, and 3 free agents not named LeBron James. Speaking of free agency, the latest on LeBron is insane. Shams says essentially every contender in the NBA has placed a call exploring the possibility of adding LeBron since the season ended. So that line's going to continue to be open. What? Imagine Bron on the Nuggets with Jokic, or the Rockets with KD, Warriors with Steph. The reason is that 41 man is still elite, but worth how much? No one can figure it out, but an anonymous NBA exec told ESPN, by our metrics, he remains a top 25 player at near max player level. Our coaches would tell you he ranks even higher than that when his legs and backs are feeling good. What? Are the Lakers really gonna let a guy like that walk for nothing when they're trying to build a contender around Luka? So LeBron needs to decide, are one of these other teams who is calling me gonna give me a better chance to win a ring? And is that worth leaving my life and son in LA? Or should I just retire? We will find out soon, but the next free agent is Jalen Duren, who had a breakout year to one of the worst drop-offs we've ever seen. 20 points a game in the regular season to 10 in the playoffs, from being Cade's number 2 to a non-factor. In fact, the numbers say in that 14-game collapse, just 14 games, he cost himself $100 million. His max was $287 million with All-NBA, but now $182 million looks realistic. Now, Jalen feels disrespected by that from the Pistons. Maybe things get interesting. Same goes for Austin Reeves. He wants $40 million a year from the Lakers. They don't want to pay him that. So who can actually poach Austin or Jalen from their current teams? Well, the short list is just the Bulls and the Nets. That is all the max cap space teams out there. But the other free agents this year include All-Star Norman Powell, OKC's Isaiah Hartenstein, who just got played off the floor in this Spurs series, Ayo Dosunmu, who I'm sure the Wolves are going to do everything to keep, Lou Dort, Tari Eason, Andrew Wiggins, CJ McCollum. There is real talent if, say, the Lakers want to help Luka. But the real big fish will come in a trade. But my son needed a new bed, which is honestly a little sad. But what's even worse is spending an entire day trying to assemble a bed frame with like a million screws. Luckily, today's sponsor, FlexiSpot, sent over their FlexiSpot Kana Japanese joinery bed, and the setup was way easier than I expected. This bed is inspired by traditional Japanese joinery, where the pieces interlock together instead of relying on a bunch of hardware. And because of that design, the frame is super sturdy, easy to assemble, and naturally quiet. Most of the frame basically locks into place, so the whole assembly process surprisingly quick and straightforward. Another detail I really like is the Velcro secured slats. The slats attach to the frame with Velcro, which keeps them stable and prevents them from shifting around. That means that the bed stays super quiet, no squeaking, no movement. Frame itself is made from rubber wood, which is a durable hardwood known for its strength and longevity, so it's built to last. And I love the design too. It's got that clean, calm Japanese aesthetic that looks great in pretty much any bedroom. Also, FlexiSpot recently announced a special collaboration with NBA star Paul George, which is really exciting to see from the brand. Right now, their brand day sale is happening with discounts up to 80% off. You can click the QR code on the screen or link in the description to learn more and see the current deals. Now, we all know about the Giannis rumors. Reports said the market had cooled off a bit, but honestly, every West team is watching OKC and the Spurs. You need a Giannis to battle Chet Holmgren or Victor Wembanyama. If you don't have an elite defensive big who can outmuscle those guys on offense, it's a wrap. I don't see how any exec can be watching these West Finals and come to a different conclusion. Right now on Kalshi, double-digit odds for Giannis to the Thunder or Miami or Boston. No joke. If OKC loses to Wemby, they might do the unthinkable. But we have to mention Donovan Mitchell off the top. The Cavs made a conference finals, yes, but if New York embarrasses them, Spider Watch is official. The Cavaliers can sign him to a big extension this offseason, but the moment he does not sign that, watch for a trade. The reason is the Cavs can't afford to lose him for nothing, because to get him in 2022, they paid 5 first-round picks, 2 swaps, and 3 rotation players. And Spider, the perfect plan B for Austin Reeves in LA, who we will discuss. In fact, I'd much rather have Spider over AR for 40+ million next to Luka Doncic. But speaking of Luka sidekicks, Kyrie Irving in rumors too. Masai Ujiri is already making big changes in Dallas, and now Mark Stein reports there's an anticipation league-wide that the Mavericks are likely to receive trade interest in Irving this offseason, as he's not on Cooper Flagg's timeline. We already know Anthony Edwards might be pushing for Kyrie in Minnesota, but now the latest on Kawhi Leonard. Did you know Kawhi just had his best offensive season ever? 28 points a game, over 50% from the field, 39% from 3, in 65 healthy games. An anonymous exec says, every day you hear about what's going to happen with Giannis. Everyone's ignoring that Kawhi has been better and healthier over the last 2 seasons. If you had a chance to acquire one or the other, I might go Kawhi. Really? A 2-time Finals MVP who costs less than Giannis? Why not? Zach Lowe was in the room when the Clippers got the number 5 pick just now in the lottery. He says there was such a sigh of relief, like finally we can turn the page to a new era. And the next step is get assets for Kawhi. Reports say the Heat, Knicks, and Warriors are top landing spots, and all signs point to Golden State. They re-signed Steve Kerr under the condition that changes would be made. We all know Giannis is a long shot. Kawhi makes a ton of sense though next step. In fact, Warriors already tried to get him at the deadline, but LA backed out. Maybe now, getting that number 5 pick finally pushes them over the edge. But next is Ja Morant. ESPN had an amazing article that explained the very latest. First of all, this whole thing broke when Ja had his beef with the coach and they suspended Ja for lashing out to the media. They took the coach's side over the star player. And after that, Ja was telling people around the league he is done playing for Memphis. And the Grizz were like, sweet, trade deadline's coming up. But the trade market was so bad. Get this, the Knicks wanted the Grizzlies to include picks for them to accept Ja. So a negative trade value. But at the same time, the Giannis domino effect is real. Some Giannis teams might then pivot to Ja once his situation plays out. But who are those teams? Well, the Timberwolves have very solid reporting behind their interest. Then a guy named Brian Robinson, aka Scoop B, mentions the Suns and the Kings. So take from that what you will. The risk is that Ja has already peaked and he comes with a big contract. But the reward might be Ja has a revival on his next team and you just got a superstar for super cheap. But Anthony Davis is similar. 2 very reputable reporters are saying AD could be on the move. First was Chris Haynes, who said there's a good chance that Davis gets moved this offseason. Then Jake Fisher said he heard the exact same thing. He just doesn't want to be on a rebuilding team if he's still elite when healthy. But his trade value is very similar to Ja. Remember, DC only dealt role players and 2 very low quality first round picks. So what teams could match that in a trade? What about the Lakers getting AD for Dalton Knecht, Jared Vanderbilt, Jake LaRavia, DeAndre Ayton, and the number 25 pick? That would allow LA to re-sign Rui and get Braun back on a big discount. To have AD, Luka, Braun, and Austin Reeves. Funniest thing of all time, to have Luka and AD on the same team after being traded for each other. Big L for Nico Harrison. But honestly, if I'm the Grizz or the Warriors, I would make Ja and AD play during the season. And if they are elite, the trade value skyrockets, then you move them. But that's not the case for the next guy, Kevin Durant. Rockets only have 2 realistic options with KD. They can either trade some young guys to build around Durant on a 2-year timeline, or trade KD for that soft reset. But it makes no sense to run it back after last year's disaster. Reports confirmed Houston didn't even address the burner account as a team and just let it fester. Did you see Alperen Şengün's thank you post on IG? Man featured like every teammate other than Kevin Durant. I wonder why. So what if Alperen Şengün is the one to go? What if the Rockets traded him to the Clippers for Kawhi? Or the Bucks want to keep Giannis happy after all? Well, they've got the number 10 pick in this upcoming draft, which seems like fair value. Attach Miles Turner's salary back to Houston and you've got a deal. Either way, we are going to see at least 2, maybe 3 gigantic player moves this offseason. But the Timberwolves could be in the middle of all of it. They've got a very interesting summer coming up. Anthony Edwards is staring up at SGA and Wemby saying, I need more help. And it turns out his front office is listening, and there is major news on who they could get.